From shy to confident. How to talk to anyone. 10 life-changing communication secrets. Learn English with real skills. Stop scrolling right now. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself this simple question. When was the last time you spoke up in a meeting? When was the last time you started a conversation with a stranger? When was the last time you said exactly what you wanted to say without fear? If you can't remember, then you're living in a prison. A prison of silence. A prison of missed opportunities. A prison where your voice doesn't matter because you never use it. Everyone wants to be confident. They want to speak English fluently. They want to network, to lead, to inspire, to connect. They want people to listen when they talk. They want respect, influence, and the power to change their life with their words. They want to walk into any room and feel like they belong there. They want to express their ideas without fear, to ask for what they want, to say no when they need to. But here's what you're doing instead. You're staying quiet in English classes while others participate. You're avoiding phone calls because you're scared of your accent. You're letting others speak for you in meetings. You're practicing conversations in your head, but never out loud. You're scrolling through social media instead of practicing real conversations. You're making excuses about why you can't speak up. My English isn't good enough. I need more time. Maybe tomorrow. You're living a silent life in a world that rewards the ones who speak up. Listen to me carefully. I'm not here to give you fake confidence tricks or magic formulas. I'm here to give you the raw truth about communication. Real skills that will transform how people see you and how you see yourself. Because confidence isn't born, it's built. And today, we're going to build yours. If you want more videos like this, real communication skills, not superficial tips, then subscribe to this channel right now. We don't just teach English, we teach you how to use English to change your life. Lesson 1. Your voice is your power. Stop hiding it. Let me tell you the brutal truth. Every time you stay silent when you should speak, you're killing your own power. Every time you let someone else answer the question you know, every time you nod instead of sharing your opinion, every time you sit in the back row and hope nobody notices you, you're training yourself to be invisible. Your voice is not just sound waves coming from your mouth. Your voice is your identity, your value, your contribution to this world. Your voice carries your experiences, your wisdom, your unique perspective that nobody else has. But most people treat their voice like it's dangerous, like it's better to stay safe and quiet than to risk being heard. Do you know what happens when you stay silent for too long? You start believing that your thoughts don't matter. You start thinking that others are smarter, more qualified, more deserving of attention. You create a prison in your own mind where your ideas go to die. Example: think about that person at work who always speaks up in meetings. Are they necessarily smarter than you? Probably not. Are they more qualified? Maybe not. Do they have better ideas? Definitely not always. But they have one thing you don't have yet. They believe their voice matters. They believe that what they have to say adds value. And because they believe it, others believe it too. I know a woman named Sarah. She worked at a company for 3 years, never spoke up in meetings, always let others present her ideas. Then one day, a new employee got promoted to the position she wanted. Why? Because that person spoke up, shared ideas, made their presence known. Sarah realized that her silence wasn't protecting her, it was destroying her career. Solution: starting today, speak at least once in every conversation, even if it's just, "I agree with that point," or "That's an interesting perspective," even if your voice shakes, even if your English isn't perfect, even if you think your comment isn't brilliant. Train your voice to exist in the world, because a voice that's never used becomes a voice that's never heard. Lesson 2. Stop apologizing for speaking English. Sorry for my bad English. Excuse me, I'm not a native speaker. I hope you can understand me. Please forgive my accent. Stop it. Stop it right now. Every time you apologize for your English before you even start speaking, you're doing something terrible. You're telling people to judge you. You're programming their minds to focus on your mistakes instead of your message. You're saying, I'm not good enough. Please be patient with my weakness. But here's the truth that will change everything. Confidence is more powerful than perfection. A person who speaks with confidence and makes mistakes is more influential than a person who says nothing perfectly. People don't remember perfect grammar. They remember how you made them feel. Think about it this way. When someone starts a conversation by apologizing, what happens in your mind? You immediately start looking for the problems they warned you about. But when someone speaks with conviction, you focus on their message, not their accent. Example: Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor of California with a thick Austrian accent that people loved to imitate. He never apologized for his English. He never asked people to excuse his pronunciation. He used his unique voice as his strength, as part of his brand. Today, that accent is worth millions of dollars because he owned it. Another example. Think about your favorite non-native English speakers, maybe actors, YouTubers, or business leaders. Do they apologize for their accents? No. They speak with authority, and people listen because confidence is magnetic. Solution: from this moment forward, never apologize for your accent or English mistakes again. Instead, if you need to clarify something, say, "Let me explain what I mean," or "Here's another way to put it." Own your voice like it's a superpower, because it is. Your accent tells a story of courage, the courage to learn a new language and use it boldly. Lesson 3, the 3-second rule: kill the overthinking. Picture this. You're in a conversation. Someone says something you disagree with. You want to respond. 3 seconds pass while you think, "Should I say this?" Now you're thinking, "Is this smart? Will they think I'm stupid? What if I'm wrong?" 5 more seconds pass. Now you're creating the perfect sentence in your head, choosing the right words, making sure your grammar is correct. 10 more seconds. Now someone else is talking. The moment is gone. Your chance to contribute is dead. This happens to you every single day, doesn't it? Overthinking is the assassin of communication. While you're polishing your words in your mind, life is moving forward without you. While you're perfecting your sentence, opportunities are walking away. While you're afraid of saying something imperfect, others are building relationships, getting promotions, making connections. Here's what overthinking really is. It's not perfectionism. It's fear disguised as preparation. Your brain tricks you into thinking that more thinking equals better results. But it's a lie. The best speakers in the world don't have perfect thoughts. They have the courage to share imperfect thoughts and improve them as they speak. Example: think about natural conversations with your best friend. Do you overthink every word? No. You just talk. You make mistakes. You correct yourself. You laugh about it. That's what real communication looks like. But when you're speaking English with strangers, you suddenly think you need to be perfect. Why? Solution: the 3-second rule will save your communication life. If you want to say something, you have exactly 3 seconds to start speaking. Not to say perfect words, just to start. You can fix your sentence while speaking, you can clarify as you go, but you can't speak while overthinking. Count in your head. 1, 2, 3, then open your mouth. Even if what comes out isn't perfect, it's better than perfect silence. Lesson 4. Your body speaks before your mouth. Your posture is louder than your words. Your eyes tell stories before your voice starts. Your hands show confidence before your mind decides to have it. People make decisions about you in the first 7 seconds, and most of that decision is based on what your body is saying, not what your mouth is saying. Most shy people defeat themselves before they even speak. They walk into a room looking at the floor. They cross their arms like they're protecting themselves from attack. They step back when someone approaches. They speak so quietly that people have to strain to hear them. Their body language is screaming, "I don't belong here, I'm not important. Please ignore me." And people do exactly that. But here's what confident people do differently. They take space instead of shrinking. They look people in the eyes like they're genuinely interested in connecting. They use their hands when they speak because they're excited about their ideas. They stand like they own every room they enter. Example: imagine 2 people walking into a job interview. Person A slouches, avoids eye contact, speaks quietly, keeps their hands in their pockets. Person B stands straight, makes eye contact, gestures naturally, speaks clearly. Before either person says a word about their qualifications, who do you think seems more capable? Your body language is your first impression and your last impression. Solution: stand like you own the room, not like you're apologizing for being there. Make eye contact like you're genuinely interested in the person, not like you're afraid they'll see your soul. Use your hands when you speak to show passion for your ideas. Take up space. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Speak loud enough for people to hear you easily. Your body language should say, "I have something valuable to share, and I'm excited to share it with you." Lesson 5. Stop waiting for permission to talk. In conversations, shy people act like they need a written invitation to speak. They wait for the perfect opening, for someone to directly ask their opinion, for a clear green light that says, "Now you can talk." They wait and wait and wait until the conversation moves on without them, until the meeting ends, until the opportunity disappears. But confident people? They create their own openings. They don't wait for permission because they understand something crucial. In conversations, nobody is the official moderator giving out speaking permits. If you have something to add, you add it. If you have a question, you ask it. If you disagree, you say so. The truth is, people respect those who contribute, not those who wait quietly in the corner. When you consistently wait for others to invite you to speak, you train people to forget that you're even there. Example: in your next meeting or group conversation, notice who drives the discussion. It's not necessarily the smartest person or the most qualified person. It's the person who says, "I think we should consider this," or "Let me share something that worked for me," or "I have a question about that." They take conversational leadership. They don't wait for it to be handed to them. Solution: in every conversation, find one moment to change the direction. Ask a thought-provoking question, share a relevant experience, give your opinion on what's being discussed. Instead of waiting for someone to ask, "What do you think?" say, "I have a different perspective on this," or "Let me share something that might help." Take control of the conversation. Don't wait for someone to give you control. Lesson 6. Master the art of questions. Questions are the secret weapon of great communicators. When you don't know what to say, ask something. When the conversation dies, ask something. When you want to sound smart, ask something. But not just any questions. Ask questions that show you're thinking, that you care, that you're listening. Bad questions: "How are you?" "Nice weather, right?" Good questions: "What's the most interesting project you're working on?" "What made you choose this career?" "What's your biggest challenge right now?" Solution: prepare 5 good questions before any social situation. Questions that make people think, that show your intelligence, that create real conversation. Lesson 7. Turn your nervousness into energy. Everyone thinks confident people don't get nervous. Wrong. They get nervous too. The difference? They use that nervous energy as power instead of letting it paralyze them. Your heart is beating fast? Good, that's energy. Your hands are shaking? Good, that's adrenaline. Your mind is racing? Good, that's your brain getting ready to perform. Solution: before speaking, don't try to calm down. Instead, tell yourself, "I'm excited," instead of "I'm nervous." Same feeling, different meaning. Channel that energy into passion for what you're saying. Lesson 8. Practice like your life depends on it. You want to be a great communicator, but you never practice. You want to speak confident English, but you only speak in your head. You want to be comfortable in conversations, but you avoid conversations. That's like wanting to be a good driver, but never touching the steering wheel. That's like wanting to be a great chef, but never cooking a meal. Here's the harsh reality. You can watch 1,000 videos about communication, read 100 books about confidence, but if you don't practice actually speaking, actually conversing, actually putting yourself in real situations, you will stay exactly where you are. Most people think they'll magically become confident speakers without practicing. They think that one day they'll wake up and suddenly have the courage to speak up. But confidence doesn't work that way. Confidence is a muscle that grows stronger every time you use it. Solution: talk to yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes every morning. Practice explaining your opinions, telling stories, expressing disagreement. Record yourself speaking about different topics for 2 minutes each. Listen back and notice where you can improve. Join online conversation groups or language exchange platforms. Start small conversations with strangers, cashiers, neighbors, people in elevators. Practice until speaking becomes as natural as breathing, until you don't have to think about how to form sentences, until your confidence becomes automatic. Lesson 9. Stop being afraid of judgment. What if they think I'm stupid? What if they laugh at my accent? What if I say something wrong? What if they realize I don't belong here? These thoughts are running through your mind every time you want to speak up, aren't they? Let me tell you something that will change your perspective forever. People are too busy worrying about themselves to judge you as much as you think. That person you're afraid will judge your English? They're probably worried about their own problems, their own insecurities, their own performance. And the ones who do judge? Their opinion doesn't pay your bills, doesn't build your future, doesn't define your worth. Truth. The fear of judgment keeps more people silent than actual judgment itself. You're fighting a war against an enemy that mostly exists in your imagination. Example: for the next week, pay attention to how much you think about other people's mistakes. When someone mispronounces a word, do you remember it for days? When someone uses incorrect grammar, do you lose respect for them? Probably not. You forget about it in seconds because you have your own life to worry about. Other people treat your mistakes the same way. Solution: for 1 week, intentionally make small mistakes when speaking. Mispronounce a word, use wrong grammar, ask for clarification when you don't understand something. Notice that the world doesn't end. Notice that people still listen to you. Notice that most people don't even notice your mistakes. Kill the fear of judgment by facing it head-on and realizing it was never as dangerous as you thought. Lesson 10. Be genuinely interested in others. Here's the secret that will transform every conversation you have. The best communicators are not the most interesting people. They're the most interested people. They listen like every word matters. They ask follow-up questions that show they're really paying attention. They remember details from previous conversations. They make people feel valued, heard, understood. When you're genuinely curious about others, something magical happens. They feel important in your presence. They want to continue talking with you. They start seeing you as someone special, someone different, someone worth knowing. Most shy people make this mistake. They focus all their energy on what they're going to say next, on how they sound, on whether they're being judged. But confident communicators do the opposite. They focus entirely on the other person. Example: think about the last time someone made you feel truly heard. They probably asked you questions about your interests, remembered things you told them before, showed genuine curiosity about your thoughts and experiences. How did that make you feel about them? That's the power you can have in every conversation. Solution: in every conversation, find one thing that genuinely surprises or interests you about the other person. Ask questions that go deeper than surface level. Instead of, "How was your weekend?" ask, "What's the most interesting project you're working on right now?" Focus completely on learning something new about them, not on impressing them with what you know. Reality check. Let me give you a reality check right now. Maybe you're watching this thinking, "This sounds good, but I've been shy my whole life. This is just who I am. I can't change." Maybe you've tried to be more confident before, and it didn't work. Maybe someone laughed at your English once, and you decided it was safer to stay quiet. But here's what I need you to understand. Your shyness is not your identity. It's just a habit, and like any habit, it can be changed. Every confident person you admire was once scared too. Every great speaker once struggled with words. Every leader once felt like they didn't belong. The difference between people who stay shy and people who become confident is simple. The confident ones decided their message was more important than their fear. They decided their contribution mattered more than their comfort. They decided to speak up anyway. You have something unique to offer this world. You have experiences, insights, perspectives that nobody else has. But if you keep those locked inside your head, if you let fear silence your voice, then the world will never benefit from what you have to give. Maybe you're watching this right now, and your heart is beating fast because you recognize yourself in everything I've said. Maybe you're thinking about all the times you stayed quiet when you should have spoken up. Maybe you're remembering opportunities you missed because you were too scared to use your voice. I want you to know something. Your voice matters. Your thoughts matter. Your perspective matters. The world needs what you have to say, but only if you're brave enough to say it. You think you're not ready? Nobody ever feels completely ready. You think your English isn't good enough? It's good enough to start, and it will get better as you use it. You think people won't listen? They will if you speak with conviction and authenticity. Every confident person you admire was once exactly where you are now, scared, uncertain, convinced they weren't good enough. The only difference is they decided to speak anyway. They decided their message was more important than their fear. They decided to bet on themselves instead of betting on their limitations. Your shyness is not a life sentence. It's not carved in stone. It's just a pattern you've practiced for so long that it feels permanent. But today, right now, you can start practicing a new pattern. You can start building the confident communicator that's been waiting inside you all along. Every time you speak up, you're not just improving your English, you're reclaiming your power. Every time you share your opinion, you're not just practicing conversation, you're declaring that your voice matters. Every time you push through the fear and speak anyway, you're not just becoming more confident, you're becoming who you were always meant to be. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Have one real conversation. Ask one meaningful question. Share one genuine opinion. Take action now, because your confident voice is waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more real communication skills. See you in the next one. Stay brave.